What's going on, guys? Going live. All right. Let's see. What do we got going on here? How's everyone's weekend been? I'm actually streaming multi-stream today, so I'm hitting up TikTok. I'm also hitting up YouTube. It's been a while, YouTube, but if you're following me on YouTube, I'm not sure if I can actually see the chat. We will see. Just getting myself situated here, guys, for the streaming chat. If you can see me, raise your hand. All right, so some big news coming out of Ottawa today, this morning, to start off the week. We've got some big news when it comes to insured or insurable mortgages. Let's jump into it, see what's going on. Nope, that's not it. We can take a look here. This coming out of Global News this morning. Ottawa to expand 30-year amortization, raise insured mortgage cap. This is pretty big news, and I think I hit a chord with my last TikTok. Got some people talking. Is it worth the hype? I think it is. I really do, because it's something I've been talking about for a while, needing to raise that cap. And look, for any of us that live outside of the larger metropolitan areas, and look, I lived downtown Toronto for many years, so I know the price of the cost of living there, but I also know not everything revolves around these larger metropolitan areas. But if you are living or planning on living there, the cap of $1 million for an insured mortgage was kind of asinine. It didn't make any sense. So now they've pushed up that cap, and we're doing 1.5 million. What's going on, Spy? Thanks for joining me on TikTok. So now we've got $1.5 million as far as the cap goes on an insured mortgage. This is really important, because one of the biggest hurdles for anyone wanting to break in to a housing market, even if they qualified for the loan, was the down payment. So a down payment of on $1 million plus one would be 20%. You do the math, we're looking at $200,000. Now, if you want to buy at 1.5 million, traditionally the rules today until December 15th would state that you got to come up with 300,000. But with the new revised rules, things are changing. So they're changing in a good way too. Right here, first-time home buyers as well as those purchasing new builds will soon be able to take on insured mortgages with a 30-year amortization, up from the typical 25-year. And they're also the Liberals are also raising the price cap for taking out insured mortgages to $1.5 million, compared with the previous bar of $1 million. Do you guys think it has anything to do with an election coming up? Maybe, but this is important because it changes the down payment requirement. For a lot of people, the hurdle was maybe not the income, right? You can add additional people onto a application, and if they all have fairly strong covenants, getting an approval, even with 3 people on a mortgage, which is not unheard of, would be fine, and you could do it. It's just between 3 people coming up with $300,000 is no easy feat in today's economy. So now we've completely switched that, and based on the sliding scale, we have a minimum down payment requirement of 5% on the first 500,000. So let's do the math together. 5% on the first 500,000, 25,000. After that, up to today's cap of $1 million less $1, it is 10%. Hey Zoe, thanks for joining. So that would be 75 or 74,999 with a cap of $1 million. Now we go to a cap of 1.5 million. The assumption is that we'd also continue on that 10%. So 10% of the next $500,000, 50,000. If you follow me so far, that's 125,000 versus $300,000. So less than half of the down payment. And that's a lot more reasonable. So it's going to get people into those higher priced properties. So if you're sitting on a property that's worth over $1 million, I would say expect a little bit more action come December 15th. Now, this is happening right around the holiday season. I don't really foresee it hitting, I guess, the demand. I think it's going to ramp up in the springtime, and I think the market's going to be a little bit stronger than we originally anticipated. Now, you couple that with what's going on in the market. Let's take a look at today's bond yield. Everyone loves a good bond yield, and today we are, no surprise, down again. So we're down 0.047. We're sitting at 262.671. So let's go back. Let's see what happened over the last month. And you can see right here, August 30th, we went off a cliff. And this is going to continue to go down. That's the expectation. And as rates continue to come down, not only fixed, but also variable, Tiff Macklem stating in his most recent article, I think the Bank of Canada governor, get this, September 16th, published today. Tiff Macklem signals central bank will step up pace of reduction should economic conditions worsen. But they've already kind of put it out there. We know October 23rd, there's another announcement, and they're looking at 50 basis points. And damn you are behind a paywall. But let's just lift that curtain for a second, shall we? Okay, so Bank of Canada Governor Tiff Macklem has opened the door to accelerating the pace of interest rate cuts, signaling policymakers could switch to jumbo 50 basis point moves. Should grow. What is it? 6.6%, which is higher than the forecasted amount. Brittany, thanks for joining me. If you guys are wanting me to do this more, just let me know. Comment. If you have any questions on mortgages or what's going on with these changes, let me know too. Encourage your viewers to share. Yeah, if you guys want to share this live, please, that would be great. The Canadian Central Bank has led the way on interest rates reductions, cutting by a quarter point. We know that. So we've had 3 cuts, and the anticipate for a total of 75 basis points, and the anticipation is 50 basis points in October, and possibly another 50 before the end of the year. So we're looking at 1%. Which is going to be pretty substantial. But if anyone is considering a mortgage right now, and I've been doing this all day on my strategy calls, I'm telling everyone, go variable. That's my prediction here. If you go variable, and more importantly, if you're up for a renewal, and let's say it's happening in the next 30, 60, 90, even 90 days out, get that approval in. It's going to hedge you against the banks shrinking that discount to prime, because right now prime sitting at 6.45%, and let's say, for example, you're getting an insured mortgage, you get prime minus 1%. Okay, so your actual interest rate is 1% lower than today's prime, 6.45. Do the math, 5.45%. The challenge is, as banks start to see more consumer sentiment shift towards the variable rate products, it's a simple supply and demand, and there's more demand on variable. They're going to shrink it, and they're going to shrink that discount. So you're not going to get 1% anymore. Let's say you're sitting on it, you're like, I'm going to see where variable hits after October 23rd. I'm going to see if rates come down. Well, why wait? Because from now until then, you've exposed yourself to more additional risk if the that discount shrinks. So we can see that discount shrinking. Already it's come down a little bit. We were seeing prime of like 1.25 in some markets, but now it's down to prime minus 1% or so, and they're going to continue shrinking that. So it's in your best interest, if you are considering that, just get over to the variable camp, get an application in. I can help you with that. We'll secure it, and that way it just kind of secures your ceiling, if you will. So your discount is locked in, and then you're in a better situation. Okay, so that's Financial Post today. And as you guys know, what I like to do is jump on some of the subreddits and see what is going on. But actually, before we do that, let me just kind of share something here. So I've had a few people ask, well, what is this going to do as far as affordability? So let me just kind of run through some of these numbers here so you guys have an idea of what's going on. Okay, so prior to December 15th, you've got a max purchase price of $1 million. Okay, and then the max purchase price after December 15th goes to 1.5 million. You're also, let's say, let's use some numbers. I'm going to get rid of this for a second. Now let's do an assumption. $125,000 is going to be your household income. Okay. We're using a qualifying rate of, let's say, 4.59%, or sorry, not qualifying rate, 5-year fixed rate. It's about average right now, maybe a little bit lower, but that means we're qualifying you on a mortgage qualifying rate, MQR, of, do the math, 6.59%. So on an insured mortgage, you would have a max 25-year AM. Okay. Now, your down payment, your maximum purchase price under this assumption, meaning you've got good credit, little to no unsecured debt, your gross debt service, your total debt service ratios cannot exceed 39% and 44%. I'm going to just go over to max, GDS, TDS, CMHC, and I'm going to call something up for you guys so you can see it too. And let me just get out of here. And now you can see it. Calculating GDS and TDS. So you can see your debt service ratios. CMHC, the Canadian Mortgage and Housing Corporation, they're the Crown Corp that does all of the default insurance. If you're putting less than 20% down, they cannot exceed 39% and 44%. Thanks for joining, Kara. So what does this mean? This means that including all of your unsecured debt, that cannot exceed 44%. So if we're doing a little bit of quick math on this, just to try and determine, okay, well, what can you afford under today's rules, and then what can you afford once these rules change? I already did it in my head, and I cross-referenced it with the thoughts in my head, and I'm pretty accurate with this. So maximum 25-year amortization, and that will equal max purchase of $550,000. Okay. Your down payment on $550 is equal to $30,000. How did I get to that? Well, $25,000 would be on the first $500,000. That's 5%. And then anything subsequent, so $550, you have $50,000, 10% on that. So you get to $30,000. That doesn't include your closing costs. Your closing costs here in Canada, you're going to have land transfer tax, you're going to have title insurance, you're going to have legal fees. As a broker, we get paid from the lender directly unless it's private money, but I don't really like touching private money, so you don't have to add that in. But for an insured mortgage, you want to have 1.5% of the purchase price set aside for your closing costs. So that's how it looks as of today. Now let's take a look here and change things around. Same thing. You're going to have 125,000 household income, max 30-year AM, and that extra 5 years of amortization will create a max purchase of $600,000, and that is with a $35,000 down payment. You see that, guys? So just like that, did some movie magic, and it increases. So people that have commented on my last TikTok saying, it doesn't help anything with affordability. Well, it does. If let's say you're a small family, or you have a family and you can't afford to just stay in a 1-bedroom condo downtown Toronto, 550 and 600,000 could be the difference between, 1 and 2 bedrooms or whatever it is. Right. So I think it's worth it. I definitely do. Okay, so let's see what else is going on here. Ooh, this is interesting. This is very interesting. looking at some stats here. I'm not actually showing it on the screen yet because I'm trying to understand it before I do that. Okay, so that's a nothing burger. Someone was talking about increase in house prices, in sales in Toronto, 43%, but that was week over week. I don't think you should be looking at it week over week. Oh, this might be a good one. Let me share my screen here. All right. Seller keeps failing to close. Hi, all. I recently bought a condo in downtown Toronto. My original closing date was early September, but the seller failed to close. Seller asked for an extension for end of September with the option to extend to end of October. Well, we agreed because we liked the place. However, his real estate agent contacted ours and said they still don't think they'll be able to close by that time of our new dates. The issue is that they can't get the current tenants out of their unit and they can't get a timely hearing with the landlord-tenant board to figure it out. I'm annoyed that they are not considering cash for keys here, and we are in a situation where we are scrambling to find places to live each month. We have talked to our lawyer about suing if it doesn't close in October, but wanted to get some thoughts here. Is there anything else we can do? What are our chances of winning the case? And Kazi Realty says your lawyer should have send them a letter explaining the cost of not closing will be higher than cash for keys. Has he done that? Many real estate lawyers aren't proactive enough when things don't go smoothly. Your chances of winning the case are very good if you hire a competent lawyer. Yeah, I mean, that's more of a, that's why you're paying your lawyer, to get involved in these sort of situations and to negotiate, really. I think if they're out of pocket for having to obviously make arrangements for housing, it could be a lot more expensive. I mean, imagine these people that are moving in, they had sold their house and, they had to move immediately. I mean, it's, and then you've got to put your stuff in storage, you've got storage costs, you've got a bunch of other things that I think it would make things a little trickier. So yeah, I mean, you definitely need to make sure that you engage a lawyer in issues like that. We're seeing more and more of that, right? Landlord-tenant board is absolutely backed up, and people are just simply trying to run out the clock on it. So that has a very real effect on people trying to close. All right, let's see what else we got coming. Tenants have caused more mouse infestation due to lack of cleanliness. Ugh. Amazon tells employees to return to office 5 days a week. Oh, I didn't know that. I mean, if that's going to happen, that's going to force some people to sell or maybe rent it out, right? Sold over 100,000 housing in Scarborough. I don't understand that English. Why do so many listings have typos and grammar errors? Yeah. Power sales up 251% year over year in the GTA. Power sales, according to TREB, is up 250% in the GTA. Agent suggestions for Toronto. Potential first-time home buyer would take on a bigger mortgage. But is that a good idea? Yeah, good question. Is it a good idea? I don't know. Here, let's do this. I have a great idea, guys. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to a mortgage calculator. And what we'll do is we are going to take a look and see. This is just a standard calculator I use just because I'm a creature of habit. So let's say, for example, you have a $750,000 mortgage. Okay. There we go. 5-year and 25-year amortization. I'm going to keep it at 4.64. Why not? But you can get an idea. These are always the way it's stacked. You're always paying more interest up front, and then as time goes on, you're paying less interest and more principal. So it's kind of like an upside down pyramid. And if we kind of take a look at this and we say, okay, we've got And I'm going to move this over on the screen. Actually, I'm going to move it over here. Maybe this will help. Okay, so we've got $4,209 a month. Now, if it's a 25-year amortization, let's see. Wow. I know this one's not going to help me out because it's just doing it by the term. I was hoping I'd be able to show you guys the difference an extra 5 years of interest payments make. Actually, we could do it on the term. So let's just say you took a 5-year term, okay, and you took a 25-year amortization. The total interest and principal is $252,577. Okay, and let's see if I can put this on. Put this on the screen. Okay, total equals 252,577. 25. Okay. And then what if we increase it to 30 years? What are we getting? Principal and interest of I think the thing we got to focus on is the amount of interest, though. So you're actually on a 30-year amortization. Obviously, your payments go down. So your term interest and principal is $230,000, but your term interest is $165,000 versus $162,000 on a 25-year. So over 5 years, you're paying over $3,000 in additional interest. And I'm sure if we extrapolate that out, that's going to add up to quite a bit. And that's going to be one of my TikToks. Stay tuned for that. I'll do that in the future because it's going to take me a little bit to sort it out. But I mean, the reality is as rates continue to come down and as we start to see fixed rate mortgages and variable rate mortgages come down in overall just effective principal and interest payments and demand, we have a lot of people that are just basically on the sidelines. They are just waiting for rates to hit a certain level in order to come back in to the market. And now I think with this push to 20 from 25 to 30 year, I've got a whole bunch of clients that were simply not in that position to buy that have just they've reached out to us today just simply from that move. So I think there's going to be a little bit more interest in the spring market. How that's going to translate long term and what that's going to do for house prices, I don't know. I have no idea. But it's likely going to put a little bit more pressure. Okay, inflation expected to ease to 2.1%. Yay, go inflation. Ethics around property dimensions on listings. How many showings are to be expected in today's condo market? This is a good question. 5 requests for viewings in 10 days. One ended up canceling. Should I be concerned, or is that normal for today's market? Yeah, that's true. If no one put a lowball offer, it's all meaningless. Yeah, what are you selling? Location, square footage. I mean, people are doing a little bit more shopping. And here's a recommendation. If you are out there looking for a property, put a financing condition, put as many conditions as you possibly can, because you can see simply that there's a lot of real estate that's sitting on the market a lot longer. In fact, let's go take a look into, let me just type in Toronto. Let's see if I can just, I don't know, we'll come in somewhere over here. Oh, this is a nice area. Yeah, that's a good area. This is a nicer area. Okay, so what I'm going to do is sort by newest, oldest, lowest price. Let's say lowest price. What's on the market here? And I'm going to go to a list. And let's see. Should have days on market. Look at this, guys. 115 days on the market. This puppy ain't moving. Sorry. Let's just pick another one. How long has this been on market? 54 days. And this is unheard of. Even just a couple of years ago, you would see 81 days on market. My point is, you've got the pick right now. As a buyer, you have the negotiating power where you can go in and 101 days on market and say, you know what, I am going to provide an offer, but it's going to be on my terms. I think anyone going in without any contingencies or conditions on an offer in this market is just insane. Don't do it. Do not do it. Let's see. Old Mill Drive. My old hood. This one here, 33 days on market. I wonder if that pizza place is still in there. What else we got? Oh, look at this. We're hitting houses under a milli for that sweet, sweet property on Jane Street. Okay, I mean, the area is great. Let's just see. How's it? 6 days on the market. So this one may not last as long. Obviously, detached. There's a little bit more demand for a detached home. $9.99. This has been on the market for 3 days. Yeah. But you can see condos right now, they are not moving nearly as quickly as some people had hoped they would move. I want to see if I can pick up one more house. Lambton, Babby Point. Oh, wow. You can get into Babby Point for 1.3. Wowee. On the market for a week. Okay. I mean, it is what it is. So that's it. Anyone have any questions while I'm on here before I decide to bounce? And Tavera, Nancy, thanks for joining me. Yeah, I mean the market is just a little bonkers right now as far as what is moving. I mean, if you're out in Calgary, you can see that properties are not on the market nearly as long, and people are getting way more than they had originally anticipated. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm trying to figure out how to get into my chat. Wish you guys could help me out here. Let's see here. Top chat, live chat. I don't have anyone on my chat. That's okay. It's all good. Started streaming 27 minutes ago. I'm just getting into this whole like live streaming thing, guys, and especially on TikTok, because when I put out a video or two, I just like to kind of follow it up with something live. If someone's got questions on things, just obviously jump into the chat and let me know. Like, hey, I got this offer from a bank or a broker. Do you think it's a good idea? I'm going to continue to try and do this as much as I can because I kind of like it too. It breaks up my day. And that way I am not just, I'm still talking to myself, but I'm talking to myself while being recorded, which is, what's it called? Just jumping back on Reddit for 1 second. I forgot there's another subreddit I like. There's a few of them I like. 3-year fix wins over variable. I did some napkin math, try my best between 3-year fix 4.19 versus prime rate of 1.25 variable, assuming we continue a cadence of 25 points cut the next 18 months, getting to an interest rate of 3%. The fixed route wins. If that's the case, what scenario have variable winning, or is my napkin math bad? Variable prime 6.45. Oh man, where are you getting a discount of 1.25%? 7 cuts, 25 points. Yeah, it's not realistic. I mean, it's nice that they put it in a spreadsheet. I've got something very similar, but I don't think the assumption here is very accurate because he's got his first. Okay, so 25 basis point October, 25 in December, 25, but then he stacks it a little bit closer to the end. I don't think that's accurate. Not only that, but you have to take into consideration too. Let's see, a 3-year at 4.19. Can you get lower than 3-year 4.19 today? Maybe. But if you go variable and you take the proper lender, then even if your discount to prime isn't a deep 1.25 and it's less, you can convert to a fixed for the remainder of your term or for a new term. So let's say you take a 3-year variable and you want to convert to a 3-year fixed at that time. So if any of the predictions on rates coming down hold value, then taking today's best rate is going to be more expensive than taking next month's or 2 months from now best rate. That's just simple. So I would go variable and then I would convert it to a fixed. I mean, there you go. And then you'd be under 4%. That's what I would do. But what do I know? Is my broker pushing for no reason? Ooh, just curious as to anyone with a little more experience, but I am up for renewal in December. New broker, it seems like, is very insistent on gathering all information today and move forward to pre-approval. Just seems like there's so much time, there's no rush. Is something a little fishy here? Okay, I think I just talked about this on the live broadcast earlier. I'm going to push you, but I'm not pushing you so I can keep you in some sort of trap or anything. I'm pushing you because, like I said, fixed rates are coming down, but the discount to variable will be reduced. So if I had someone coming up for renewal, and I do have people coming up for renewal in December, you have to take into consideration that banks want to keep their margins nice and fluffed, and what they're going to do is they're going to start to reduce that discount to prime. If you're in the camp that wants to go variable, there is literally no downside to saying, let's get the docs in right now. And then we can secure you a rate that you don't have to take come December, right? But if the rate is better and if the discount to the prime is greater than what you can get today, you've just hedged yourself against any changes or fluctuations that isn't ideal. That's what I would do. You have a good broker, it seems. For most lenders, pre-approval is valid for up to 120 days, blah, blah, blah. Okay. What else? Renewal questions. A lot of questions on renewals. Mortgage approval is in a negotiated ending a 5-year fixed term early without a major penalty. That's called a blend and extend. Blend and extend is basically where they extend it and they blend the rate. So you're not going to get the lowest rate on the market, but you'll get something that's a little bit more manageable. Can I reset amortization 22 years at renewal with MCAN after making extra payments? Yes. Change amortization at renewal. Well, then it's not a renewal. Okay, let's see. We're in the midst of a refinance for our mortgage, and in this process and for cash flow reasons are extending the amortization to 20 or 25 years to lower our payments. My question is, when this 3-year fixed term is up and we are renewing in 2027, can we change amortization to 15 years without paying a penalty or having to refinance? You guys are mathing real hard here. So you want to go to extend the amortization, and then you want to come back and you want to do a shorter amortization. So there's a couple things here. Now, once you shorten your amortization to 15 years, obviously your payments are going to go up, and that means it's going to report to your bureau, which pushes up your debt ratio. So if you have additional properties, you want to make sure that you are aware of this, because it may put you in a camp where you just simply can't qualify for whatever additional mortgage you need. So that's something to take into consideration. The other thing is, okay, if you're moving from, let's say you did have, what does this guy say? 3-year term, and they want to push it to 20 or 25 years. So they're at 18 years or something like that right now. I don't know. Well, if they want to move to 20, 25 years, any change, you're going to have to get a lawyer involved, and they're going to be legal fees. It's no longer classified as a switch. It's not insurable or insured. It's going to be a uninsured conventional refinance. Even though you're not taking any money out, it's not an equity takeout. It's a refinance, but it's the same sort of thing. So you're going to have more costs associated with it, absolutely. And then if you want to go and change the amortization on maturity in 3 years' time, sure, yeah, you could do that. You can qualify in 15. Most lenders want at least 10 years for an amortization because they want to make money out of it too. But if you went 15 years, you just have to qualify in 15 years. And again, it's not going to be a straight switch. You're not switching. You're not taking what's existing and moving it to another lender. You're changing the particulars of the loan, and there'll be fees involved with that. Sure thing. And different rates. Okay. Rolling up a HELOC into home loan at RBC Home Loan. What's up with this nonsense from BMO? They have to be kidding. Your new term. Oh, what's BMO doing to these folks? Let's see. All right. Fixed. Okay, there's nothing smart about the 5-year smart fixed close. Telling you guys, look at this. So your interest rate 6.69%. But what is the posted rate? Yeah, these rates are wonky. I mean, it's a low mortgage, so they're probably just they don't want to be very competitive. That doesn't make any sense. Okay, I'm gonna try and go back and see what these people say. Must have bad credit. Here's a comparison with other lenders. It's not from 2016. You see this new rate chart on September 6th. Problem with banks and their discounts is the potential increased IRD if you ever break your mortgage before the term ends. Selling, refinancing, unexpected life event. Your bank and most monoline lenders don't add a discount to your rate. Quick video. Yeah, we know that. So that's something that's obviously of importance is if you are switching lenders on a renewal, and let's say you take a longer term because it's got a lower interest rate, and then you break it, you are subject, if it's a fixed rate mortgage, to a 3-month interest penalty or an interest rate differential penalty, whichever is greater. And as the posted rates come down, your penalties actually go up. So it's in your best interest to make sure that you are aware of what discount you're getting when you sign your commitment. If your lender decides to drop the posted rate and you haven't signed on the dotted line yet, and you haven't closed with your lawyer, go back to that broker you're dealing with and have them reissue a commitment that has the new posted lower rate. And if your broker isn't doing that, then go find one that does. That's important. So yeah, that's it. Today's news, guys. Breaking news, Financial Post, a bunch of other ones. No, not this one. Where is it? I missed it. Oh, this was good too. Inventory. No, but it was, my breaking news. The insured mortgages, they're changing it. So 25 years goes to 30 years and 1 million goes to 1.5 million. Now, what that's going to do for the insurance amount that goes, that's added on, if you're putting the minimum down, we'll see. I don't know if that's going to change. It's a percentage, obviously, of the loan amount. And keep in mind, guys, mortgage default insurance is not really for your benefit. It's the benefit of the lender in the event that you default and you can't make payment on your mortgage. Guess what? They got a policy in your head, so they will just redeem it. So, but you're paying for it. You absolutely are. Principal and interest and default insurance all rolled up into one. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. I got to go home. It's 5 o'clock Eastern time, 3 o'clock Mountain time.